I know a lot of people are wondering what is their day going to look like as they get their Friday going. As you get the day started, know that there is some dense fog out there. In fact, enough to warrant a dense fog advisory all the way through 9 o'clock. It's mainly impacting the coastal areas, but you can see it's pretty widespread now from the 5 all the way towards the 805, stretching along parts of the 8, the 94, as well as the 52 this morning. According to our current Viz map here, the worst of it in downtown San Diego, and then you move up to the North County and you're looking at pretty good visibility. Here's what it looks like, and you could actually see some of those low-lying clouds in the distance there, that inversion occurring. This is from one of our mountain sky cams. And of course, we have a pretty sunrise in the distance as well. Conditions right now are in the low 50s. Elsewhere, though, some areas waking up quite cool. Escondido at 48 degrees. We're at 49 in Oceanside, and Borrego Springs at 50 degrees. All right, taking a look at your weather headlines, onshore flow will pick up. That's what's bringing in that marine layer this morning. Despite a slip in temperatures, we are going to remain above seasonal. So here's where we should be for this time of year. And notice how we're typically supposed to see a lot of 60s widespread from the coast to the inland valleys. Even the desert should be in the 60s for this time of year. But for today's highs, we are not going to be anywhere near that. Lots of 70s across the board. We're even going to top out in the 80s for neighborhoods like El Cajon, as well as Ramona. And I have an asterisk next to Borrego Springs because that's actually where we could beat a record later on this afternoon. So this ridge of high pressure, it's doing a couple of things. It's bringing in those warm temperatures, and it's also keeping the storm track well to our north, which is why we're going to stay fairly dry for the next several days. So here's what it looks like. This is our coastal 7-day forecast. We'll be in the low 70s, dropping down into the 60s this weekend. So it looks like Sunday will be one of the coolest days of the next 7, and then we'll have the return of Santa Ana's, again, paired with that ridge, and we're looking at really warm temperatures come next week. I mean, we're talking about daytime highs, not nearly as hot as some of the temperatures we saw earlier this week, but it'll take us back into the 80s for some of the inland communities, and then we'll be in the mid 70s by the time we get to the middle of next week. Here's a quick look at the mountains and deserts. As I mentioned, the deserts should typically be in the 60s, the mountains typically in the 50s, and we will be far from that in the coming days. As always, you can find an extended weather forecast streaming now on our free CBS 8 app.